the first job I had, I was a PA on a show called Mother's Day with Joan London. And I was there one day, and my office was across from where the executive producer was, and the executive producer was screaming at somebody and said, "You're getting fired. Get your stuff and get out." This is my first day. I'm like, Jesus Christ. And I was scared to leave my office, but I got up, had to go do something, and out came the executive producer. We met in the hallway. And I said, "Well, who was that?" I said, that was the audience coordinator. And I said, "Oh, is that a higher job than a PA job?" And he says, "Yeah, it's the next level." And I said, "Okay, I'd like to apply for the audience coordinator job." And he said, "What makes you think you can do that? You just got hired as a PA." I go, "I'm going to do a better job than that guy, I promise." And he said, "All right, I'll give you a shot." So I got a better job.
Did you really think that you could? Or were you just saying that?
I said, I could give this a shot. I think I could generate an audience. This guy was going about it the wrong way. I'm like, this guy didn't welcome the audience. He didn't, anyway, I went out and I started trying to get audience. First I said, I need money. I want to print tickets. I printed tickets. I went out with a pile of tickets. I went to the senior centers. I went to schools. I was the Pied Piper. I went in, I talked to the principal. In those days, you could walk in. "Can I see the principal? I'm working on a show down the street." "Oh, you're working on a show? Come on. Hey, we want to bring a class. You want to give education? We'll give a tour, blah, blah, blah." So all of a sudden, I started filling these audiences. And then I'm like, okay. So I jumped up on stage and I started talking to them and doing a pre-show. I didn't know what I was doing. And I was kind of delaying it because they would start late and I felt bad. Everyone was sitting there. So I told them a joke. I said, "These are the lights, these are the cameras." And when Joan London, who was the host of it, walked out for the first time, I said, "Now, ladies and gentlemen, the star of our show, Joan London." Everyone clapped. She was like, she had walked into a dark studio, the audience. So I got into the audience business. Then I started out at Geraldo doing the audience. And then, because he's such a good guy, he let me come to him and tell him, "Hey, I have an opportunity to do some other shows. Joan Rivers' show is starting. An improv show is starting, a game show is starting. They're coming to me, and I want to start a company." He says, "And I promise you, Geraldo, it's not going to affect your audience." And he said, "I trust you. Go for it." And he let me go for it. And he let me start this company for 3 years. So, it's like I was out there giving out tickets, Times Square. I was always kind of selling, handling, if you will.
Yep.
Out of fear and hunger. It's true. Fear and hunger.
I was working at a acting studio called Professional Artist Group, and during the day they cast commercials. One day I remember said, "I can do that. I think I want to do that." And a casting director, who will not be named, I went up to her and said, "I think I'd like to do this. I'd be good at it." And she looked at me and she laughed and she said, "Ha, that'll never happen." And that was all I needed to motivate me. I started by actually assisting. We are 4 different casting directors in commercials, which is unusual. Usually you apprentice under one. And then I fibbed a little when I answered the phone one day and they were looking for a casting director for an industrial film. And I said I was a casting director. So they hired me. And after that, things started rolling.
I was taught by Sports Illustrated as an assistant to do this indoor lighting technique where you put these giant strobes, these big flash units up in the catwalk and arenas. I learned this technique. There were only a few of us who knew it in the country. So I spent a lot of time at the Forum where the Lakers and Kings played, assisting the photographers I was working for. And I took that little crack in the door from being an assistant and meeting these people to taking it another level and using that moxie to say, "Hey, if I put some strobes in for a couple of games and shoot a Laker game or a Kings game, and I give you the pictures, give me a credential, will you let me put the strobes in?" And they were great. And, meanwhile, fast forward, it's been an amazing career. I've been around the world multiple times, and it really was the door that flung open for me with the NBA. And I think the Brooklyn Moxie had a little something to do with that.